I went to college to play baseball. I had no real business being in college. I was getting in trouble all the time, getting in all kinds of shit. And then, in the college that I went to, I ended up taking an acting class almost as a, I don't know. You look, man, you know what that is. The crazy shit is, acting is, I don't want to give a fucking history lesson, but when Stanislavski, for them to take that, and that's the problem I've really found. I never did. Yeah, I went from the first job I went. They told me to go to the hair and makeup chair. I did like the Law and Orders and stuff like that. And I was getting enough that, to me, I was getting enough that I would go in and I would do well. I was so. It was rough, man. I mean, look, those first couple years. I mean, I remember my wife. She was my girlfriend then. She's an ICU trauma nurse, and I would come home sometimes, and I'd just be like, "Look, baby, this ain't gonna fucking work for me. Like, it just ain't happening." You were talking about. I was vicious about being on those breakdowns, and I was vicious about. I mean, I would just go to casting offices where they were casting things, and even if I didn't have an audition, I would just look. The one thing I will say, I was very confident. So I would go in and I would say, "Look, I know I'm not on any list, and I know you're not supposed to see me today, but I'll just fucking wait here. And when you're done, or maybe before lunch, just let me do my thing. And if you don't like it, I'll never fucking."
Did you guys always have this confidence, or was it? I can't imagine. Like, all of us came to LA, and like LA is like kind of scary to come to from the East Coast. You went from the East Coast to Russia, where you didn't speak the language, to a school where they didn't speak your language, and to now coming out here. But did it seem kind of easy to come out here to LA? Like, it's not that big of a thing.
I go back to the same thing, like what we were talking about boxing. Let me tell you something. He will beat the fuck out of everyone in here, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter at all. I'm like, it's fucking Sean Carey. I was so nervous for him. I was like, oh my god, look at him up there. Oh fuck. He would start. I'm like, I don't know. Okay, that was okay. And people would laugh, and people wouldn't be laughing, or people would be talking. I swear to God, I was going to get fucking locked up again. I was going to kill them for fucking talking during his set. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And but look, every time you step on set, you've got that, you run that risk. Every take, you run the risk of fucking failing. And that's awesome. Because a lot of people don't get that, man. A lot of people don't get that. Fuck all the money, fuck all the other bullshit. That's why we do this. When I was a kid, I used to read this book in the doctor's office. If you knew it. I mean, some people, they don't, man, it was really two things sort of happened in unison, but I've learned it now. If you just give me the shot. And look, sure enough, this guy ended up waking up. He ended up suing me for a whole shit ton of money, because I had just done Night at the Museum too, which they fucking put my face on the poster. So my poster's all over California. He saw it. He goes, that's the guy that knocked me out. So now he's suing me for $2 million, saying he's got vertigo and PTSD and all this bullshit. And point being, man, right after that is when I was faced with this situation where I had an audition. Look, man, I think anytime when I read that positive, this is the best shit I ever read. I mean,
really?
I asked him what I was like that first week of this job. I was a mess. But I think, and it's great that he's coming today, that Pete's coming today. Did you say goodbye to Howard? I loved him, man. I loved him. I played his son, and I saw that you could do that. I realized that there was a certain kind of energy that when I tapped into, I only got in trouble. If I tapped into that energy like you did, I could actually make a life for myself. Stop, you know what I mean? So then it finally ends, you know what I mean? And like, I wasn't looking for anything back. I didn't want any, I didn't even, I sucked your dick, now suck mine. I wanted nothing, you know what I mean? I just wanted to tell him I just wanted to get this off my chest because I thought I'd never live with myself if I didn't tell my idol that he's my fucking idol and that he was better than what I thought. And so when the conversation was over, naturally, it just sort of fell into this awkward silence because now he's got to say something. And he's sitting there and he's looking at me and he's like, we do these things, and then they end. And that's all he fucking said, you know what I mean? And he didn't mean anything by it, but, he just couldn't. Doesn't mean you can do other, and sure as fuck doesn't mean you want to do the other. And I could tell, man, he just wanted to move on and get going, you know what I mean? And there was no lack of love in what he said, but I said what I needed to say.
When have you bumped into him again?
I have not bumped into him again. No. But he's, I so good. And those are the guys, I don't know. It's like, for me, I still go to movies for performances. I know Brolin's doing something. Benicio's doing something. DiCaprio, if those guys are doing something, there's a list of them. I gotta see it. I gotta see what they're doing, And man, you do a lot of good, man, on this show, man.